Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will learn something about the base template. So in the previous lecture we have designed the navigation bar which looked something like this. So let me just open up the website, and as you could see, this was our navigation bar right here. Now what happens if we click on this thing right here, which is one of the books which is named as Life. So if you click on this book, as you could see, now you will be redirected to a new page, and that page is the details page which does not have any designing on it. So let's say you want to include this navigation bar, because usually the navigation bar occurs or appears on almost each and every web page of the website. So what we want to do here is that we want to make sure that we have this navigation bar on each and every page. So one thing which you could do is that you could simply go to the page which is index.html. So you could simply open this thing up, you could copy this navigation bar, then you could go to details and you could paste the navigation bar over here. But the problem with that is that, let's say you want to make some changes to your navigation bar. So what you need to do is that you need to make changes to each and every file where the navigation bar is present. And also, when you actually repeat a set of code, it's actually not advisable to do according to software engineering, because it makes your code redundant, and also it is quite difficult to maintain such kind of code. So what we do here is that we create a base template, and that template is nothing but it is actually going to contain your navigation bar, and we will place that base template at one place, and we are going to basically reference that base template into each and every file where we actually want the navigation bar. So right now we want navigation bar at two places. Plate, and you need to name it as base.html. So let's create a new file, HTML file, and let me name this thing as base, and when I hit OK, it is actually going to create a new HTML file for us. Now the first thing which we need to do is that we basically need to copy this bootstrap links over here, and also the CSS file which we have. So I'm going to simply cut this links from the head tag, and I'm going to paste these links in the head tag over here. So once I have these links pasted, the next thing which I am going to do is that I'm going to copy the entire navigation bar into this base template right here. So we go to index, and as you could see, this thing right here is nothing but a navigation bar. So I'm going to cut it from here so that there is nothing at all in this, and I guess we missed one tag from here, so that should actually be up till here. So let me just select the entire thing and cut it properly, then go to base.html, and in the body tag, let's go ahead and paste it right over here. And now once you have copied the entire navigation bar, what you simply need to do is that you need to go here right below the tag where navigation bar ends, and you need to include the block body. So you simply type in the percentage signs, so %, and here we type in block body, which is going to contain the body. So the block body is going to start from here, it is going to contain some code, and then the body is going to end. So here we type end block. So this is mandatory when you do this kind of things. Now what we need to do is that once this base template is ready, you need to actually go into the index.html, and you need to reference this base.html file into this from this index.html. So in order to do that, we go right here, and right above here, right below the load static files, we type the code to extend the base.html file. So for that, we type in %, then we type in extends, and then we specify the path for base.html. So that is nothing but books/base.html, and that is basically going to have a reference to our file. And now once we have this reference, what we do is that we go ahead and we actually need to put the entire HTML code in between the block body and end block, which we have done in the base.html. So in case of this, we actually don't have any block body or end block, or we do not have any code in between these lines. But in case of index.html, we actually need to include this entire code in between these two lines of code. So I'm going to simply copy this, go back here in index.html, paste it over here, and then I'm going to simply cut this entire code and paste it right in between these two lines. So once this is done, I am going to simply save the code, and what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to do the exact same thing with the details page as well. So if you open up details page, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this line of code, which is going to go right about to this. So this is basically to load the static files, and this is basically to extend the book/base.html. And right after this, what we do here is that we go back to the index.html and we copy this end block, return back to the detail, and paste it right over here, so that the code which was actually present initially in details.html is actually included in between these two, that is nothing but the block body and the end block. So once this thing is done, make sure that you restart your server, and when you open up your web browser and if you refresh this thing, and I guess we made a simple mistake somewhere, and let me actually check it. Actually, there are a lot of mistakes you could make while coding in Django, because it's sometimes quite confusing. Okay, so the issue is that you actually don't need to include the load static files here. So you simply need to delete this from here, and actually you can cut it from here, and you actually need to include this load static files in base.html, which is this file right here. So this base file is only going to load the static elements, so sorry for that. And that is actually going to fix your error. So now if you return back to your server and if you refresh this, as you could see, now we have the home page with the navigation bar, and even if you click some book here, as you could see, it takes you to the new page, which also has the exact same theme or the exact same styling as the home page. And as you could see, the navigation bar is present here as well. So that's how you could use the base template to basically apply the one single theme or use the navigation bar in each of your web pages of your website. So the only thing which you need to take care of is that the first thing is you actually need to create a base template which is actually going to have the common elements to all the pages. Once you do that, what you need to do is that in whichever page you want to use that particular template, you simply need to type in this line of code, which is %extends, then the path %, and then you actually need to put in the code in that page in between the block body and end block. So what this is going to do is that this is actually going to reference to the base.html, which contains the entire code for the navigation bar. So you have the navigation bar at the top, and the rest of the page is going to contain the HTML code which you actually want to display down here. So that's it for this lecture, and I hope you guys understood the significance of using a base template and how to actually go ahead and use the navigation bar in each of your web pages. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.